Blog Talk Radio.
You're listening to Cutting Edge Web Marketing with your host, Jeremy Keene. Listen up to get the information you need to attract new customers for your business starting right now. Sponsored by BrickRoadMedia.com, the web's #1 source for small business customer attraction know-how.
Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Cutting Edge Web Marketing. I'm your host, Jeremy Keene. Before we get started, look at the description underneath the video part that you're watching there, where you see the slide where it says 9 key elements of a high converting website. Below that, there should be a link that says download slides for this episode. Click here so that you can follow along, because we're going to be using a lot of visuals in this. I wanted to give everybody the ability to see what I'm seeing as we're going over it. So go ahead and click that, download that, and we'll go over a couple other things real quick before we get started. For those who do not know me, I am the co-founder of Brick Road Media. I co-founded Brick Road Media 2.5 years ago with Jack Humphrey. If you haven't heard of Jack Humphrey or don't know Jack, I highly recommend that you go to Google and put his name in. He's done a lot of cool things over the last 13 years of being involved with internet marketing, search engine marketing, pretty much anything and everything marketing online. So very good resource there. I'm glad to have him I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years, and most of my background is in informatics and marketing. So putting the two together with Jack and I, we've created quite the cool company here with Brick Road, and we're going to be teaching you guys several different things over the next several months, every week on Thursdays here at the same time. Today's episode is, as you can tell by the title, about landing pages websites. We're going to go over the 9 key components or the fixes that you could take a look at on your website. But I wanted to kind of give you an overview of the next several weeks. What we're going to try to accomplish over the next several episodes is kind of getting your minds around the fact that there is no real split between digital marketing and traditional marketing. It's actually all one. Today is it's 2014. So if you haven't got a digital presence and you own a business, then you've kind of missed the boat, and you need to jump on and get back into the groove here. So we're going to break that down into 3 main points, and those points are traffic, conversion, and analytics. So all of the episodes that we're going to be doing over the next several months are all going to base around one of those 3 topics, those 3 main components. Because at the end of the day, this can be very, very, very complicated if you let it. But it's all going to revolve around one of those things. Are you generating traffic to the site? When they're at the site, what do they do? Will they convert? And the only way to know the answers to all of those is to learn analytics and figure out who's coming, what they're doing when they're there, and whether they're converting. If they're not converting, you can have the prettiest website in the world, but if you're not driving traffic to it and they're not converting, then there's a problem, and you'll pick that problem up in analytics and get it fixed. So what we're going to do, it's going to be kind of a little weird. We're going to cover a ton of topics around those 3 main points, and then we're going to circle back around and we're going to talk about the overall marketing plan for your business. I know that probably seems a little weird that we're going to start with all of the content and all the pieces of the plan and then talk about the actual plan and how to write it at the end. But you'll see where I'm going with that as you follow along. So let's go ahead and dive right in. The second slide that you should have there is, after the highly converting website, is a picture that has numbers on it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The first piece that we're going to talk about is the navigation bar. The navigation bar, this is kind of new to the world of website design and building. In the past, and a lot of you still will have what we call is a brochure site. It's got the About Us, the Contact, it's got all the bells and whistles. The home page probably has a ton of text on it. But what it really doesn't do is it doesn't take the visitor and take them any certain direction. They're pretty much left to guide themselves around your website and try to figure out where they need to be, where they want to know, and figure it out on their own. What we try to build at Brick Road with our Super Site program is kind of a hybrid between the two. Between the landing page, which is a very targeted page that is geared typically around a service or a product, and all you're wanting to send there is targeted traffic, whether it be from Google pay-per-click, Facebook ads, social media campaigns, something thought out. That's supposed to be for targeted traffic. So what we recommend doing, and what we try to do here, is to take the actual concept of a website with the home, features, products, reviews, about us, support, all the different tabs at the top at the navigation bar, and then lay out your home page like a traditional landing page is, so that you're actually able to focus on the elements that are going to capture attention, that are going to convert customers or convert these users as soon as they get on that front page. So the navigation bar is super important, because that's going to be the area where they're going to take off and go into something. If it doesn't pertain, what's on the home page is not pertaining to them, if they really are only about your products, or they want to see the reviews or whatever you have up at the tab, it gives them the option to do that. Now, what we want to do when we're building those is we want to keep those small, because they're not really designed to be there to guide. We don't want them to distract from the laid out homepage that we've laid out, because the way we've laid out the homepage should give them everything that they need to know to be able to take an action. And that's the whole concept around building a website that converts, is they have to take action. So we'll go over a couple different examples of that. So for the navigation bar, make sure you on these hybrid type pages, you want to keep it small and don't distract. So let's go over number 2. Number 2 is a super important part, and that's the headline. Make sure that when you do come up with the headline, you can Google several different, there's great articles out there on how to make a headline. There's formulas that people talk about on there about how to make a headline. But the basic version of a headline is what we always talk about in sales, and that's your elevator pitch, shrunken down into a short version. You want to make sure that it's very clear and catchy, and that it explains your product or service in a couple sentences or less. So one of the ones that Jack and I used was take control of your internet problem and learn easy ways to attract more customers. So it tells you exactly what we're going to do and what problem we're going to fix for you, all in the headline. The subheadline or the subheading is going to be right underneath that in smaller text, and this is where you can start to explain a little bit of the benefits that are going to be of the headline detail, but not too much. You're talking one line here, just to kind of back up what the headline was talking about. I'm going to be showing you at the end here. We're going to kind of bounce back and forth back to this, because I've got some good examples in these slides picked up that show some companies you probably would not think would have pathetic headlines that do. Number 3 there, we always want to put the main content part. People actually scan when they get online. They don't actually read text. That's why text is on website design and homepage design has gone kind of away with Foxtrot here, because people don't read. They don't pay attention to text anymore. They scan. I always say when people get on websites and take a look at them, you only have 3 to 4 seconds to capture attention, and that's at the long side of it. And if you haven't grabbed their attention, they kind of turn into like an ADD 9-year-old where it's just, beep, beep, woo, look at the squirrel, there he goes. Yeah, you've got to capture their attention very, very quick. And that's why the headline is designed right there at the top, right where it's supposed to be. And then below that to the right, because people actually scan right to left on the website, that's where you want your main content piece to go. And that is either a video or a real catchy image. And the image needs to be something that is not stock. If any of you go to CanStock Photo or any of that kind of stuff, please don't. Very few stock images out there really do justice to what we're trying to do here with the landing page. What you want to be able to do there is find an employee or someone in your building, have a photographer come over, take a shot, think it out a little bit, what you're trying to say, and I'll show you an example of that here in a little bit. Video is my favorite. 15 to 30 second video. The shorter you can explain what this page is all about and what benefit they're going to get in a video, people love media. They like pictures. They like video even better. A quick click on the video there, 30 seconds, boom, I got the gist of what you're doing. All right, so we'll get to that video part in a second, but the benefits you need to do here need to be bullet pointed down, and they need to break down the benefits of the solution. What problem are you solving? Knock that down in 3. Everything in design works well with 3, so I'm a big fan of 3 bullet points there. And then you can get really crafty with the way it looks. The way, like I've done it here on this, are 3D banners. You can do that. Something that's eye-catching, that classes up your page a little. Number 4 there, we're going back to the images in the video. Like we were saying just a minute, visuals convert better than text. Videos convert even better than images. Now, it does take a little time if you're not a video person. True story, I actually had a 30-second video for another company that I'm a part owner in, done for $45 on Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr.com. Great resource for banners, any kind of graphics, video, audio. The introduction to the show was actually purchased on Fiverr. I had a 30-second promo video done that explained this other company, products, what we did, how to act. And it was very, very professional, kind of an animated little cartoony thing. Looked awesome. And got it for like $45 on Fiverr. So if you've never worked with Fiverr before, that would be a wonderful place to check out and have your next piece of, whether it's graphics or video, audio, something that you need done to make it look professional, done. So, again, I'm a big video fan. Very, very high conversion rates. Images, I'm just personally not a huge fan of them unless you take the time to take one by a professional and make it geared towards something in the actual headline or for example, have the person looking the direction that's going to be the headline. You got to really think these pictures out, and then you can add text to them. When you do that, then you can add a couple subheadlines or subheadings kind of in your actual picture, and if you can pull that off and make it look good, then I'd be a fan of it. But if you've got the means, the budget, and the creativeness to do the video, then go with that. Now, this number 5 is probably the most important piece as far as from a business standpoint, and that's the action. The call to action, or shortened up is a CTA, and I'll probably refer to it as a CTA moving forward here. You want to make sure that these stand out. So when you're designing this, one of the things that you want to do is use color contrast. Whatever theme that your landing page or website's done in, the colors of it, you want to make sure that you contrast with the button that's the call to action. You also want the strategy of give to get. What can you give somebody? Why would they give you anything? So here is where you're going to put in the capture forms or get a free, put your email and name in and get a free book or get a free ebook or get a coupon if you own a retail location. A coupon's a good thing to give. You're always wanting to give someone value, give content away that reassures them and shows them that you are the authority in that space, and they're more likely to give back to you. It's just a simple law of reciprocity. When you give someone, they feel obligated to give you, and all you're asking for is simply a name and an email address. Whatever you do, do not do a form to get one of your ebooks or to get a PDF or a white paper or anything that you're going to give away. Do not do a form that is name, address, social, phone number, firstborn's name, all that. People do not want to give all that, especially in the first interaction. You want to look at this as kind of like the introduction that you may have just done in person with someone. Well, you're not going to go too far in depth. What's the typical introduction? Hi, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. How are you? I'm Jeremy. Hey, I'm John. Okay, enough. First name, email, max. As you get more antiquated with them and you've sent them some more content through the automated marketing strategies, which we will have an episode about in the future, then you can kind of open it up more, and if you want more information, then they're a little more likely to give it to you because there's a foundation and a relationship being built. So for what we're talking about today, the call to action needs to be something of value that they would want, and in return, they're willing to give you name and email address for it. Back to the Fiverr thing, there are for $5, you can have these buttons and these things created. You can have a book cover created for an ebook that you might have written. You can have any kind of graphics done that will make these pop, look good, and they're really, there's some good ones on there that are really easy to work with. So moving on to 5A here, which is not necessarily represented on the main picture with all the numbers, but I threw this slide in because there is something called the fold in design. And what the fold is at the viewable screen, when you're looking at the screen and you're seeing the topic at the top or the logo of the company, you're looking at all the navigation, the headline, the video, the benefit, all of that, and most importantly, this call to action, all need to be above that fold. And the fold is where the last thing that you can see on the screen before you have to scroll down. Even though it's becoming more and more common that everybody kind of figures and knows that you have to scroll, and with responsive design and some of the design tricks, it's even getting easier for these things to fit on the screens and look good. You still want to make sure that on the smallest type of screen size, probably around, 19 to 21 inches, it's about the smallest most people use anymore. You want to see what it looks like on there when you're designing this, and make sure that those top 5 are above that fold. If you can get them all, if it's a way to get them all, I doubt you can with design without it making it look terrible in design. But you can try to get it all in one page. Definitely make sure the top 5 are there. Then testimonials is number 6. And what you're looking for here is why would somebody do business with you? Give and the higher clout testimonial you can give, the best. So tell people here, what do they think of your company? If you're not doing business with people and at the end asking them for a testimonial, you're messing up. And you know me, I'm a big fan of video, so I would recommend that you actually talk to them about doing a video testimonial. Stats show nothing more powerful than a video testimonial done by a happy customer. So if you don't have that as part of your business plan where you've done business with somebody and ask them for that, then do it. Most of the time, right after you complete the sale or the whatever transaction you've done is the best time to ask for it. That's typically where they're the happiest, and their attention is with you at that point. Calling them 2 weeks down the road, not near as successful. If you don't have a good video or a good camera on your phone, Apple's got, iPhones all have good cameras. Samsung, the Galaxy series all have decent cameras on there. Just shoot it right from your phone, right with them. If you don't have that, you can pick up one of the old flip cams. That was my favorite for a long time until I upgraded my phone. Whatever you can do, make sure you carry it with you when you're completing those sales and get that testimonial. Worst case scenario, get a testimonial on writing from them. Even have a little sheet that they can fill out towards the end of it. Send them something via email. But those are huge, and you want to pick the best ones to put in here. And you typically want to try to put the ones that if someone gave you a real big raving review and it's kind of a big person in the area, if you're in a local area and someone that's highly recognizable, you did business with, gave you a good review, you want to use that one so that it just gains a little bit more clout and trust in the person that's considering doing business with you from this page. Number 7 is the description. Here you want to kind of go over what makes your product unique. You want to be descriptive, use colorful words here. You can use photos. I like icons here. I like icons up in benefits too. I forgot to say that up there. The more creative and the more graphic you are, the more professional it looks, the results will be better. So really want to use this as kind of a template and sketch it out, but you can go to vector images for free online and find all kinds of them, that the little icons that will explain what you're talking about. Photos are cool there. Icons are even better, I think, and I like, but they should absolutely match up with what you're trying to describe. So, don't be afraid to jump back into your school days here. Go to thesaurus.com. Look for some words that aren't real boring. You want to really spice it up, because this is what is selling you and selling your whole thing, is the product and the service and the description of it. So don't shortcut that. Really spend some time making those look good and sound good. And they can go on and on and on. I will be posting some examples of landing pages after this episode, and anybody who wants to see some of the ones that are my favorites, I'd be more than happy to send you over those links, because some of them can go on for quite a while. They'll scroll and scroll and scroll, and they're loaded down with testimonials. They're loaded down with proof, especially internet marketing and internet marketers who will sell products online. They'll show you their PayPal logs and show you how much money they've made off of it if they're trying to sell you however they did it. So I'll show you different examples of landing pages and how those all work. So make sure the descriptions look good. Moving on to 9, we're skipping 8 because 8 and 9 were kind of all together with the 7. The number 9 is trust content. If you can use logos of businesses that you've done business with, or if you're marketing yourself in a page, there's going to be a episode coming up on perception marketing, perception-based marketing. And what you can kind of involve there, if you're a company and I've used some big ones like Lowe's, Doritos, and Coca-Cola here in the slide, but the bigger the company, the more recognizable the company that you've done business with, use that as kind of a third-party verification. If you can get a testimonial from someone in one of those big companies, even better. You can then link that over, and in the testimonial, use the icon of the, Coca-Cola. It's the vice president of operations gave you a, 5 thumbs up on whatever you did. That's huge. You need to use that in your landing page, especially if it's a testimony that, of course, you've gotten consent to use from them. In your product, if you have security seals like VeriSign or Trustee, if you're set up with them, use those. Anything that you can do to add trust to the content that you're trying to sell, to the product you're selling, and it'll instill that kind of feeling in the people when they're on there. At this point, they're at towards the bottom of your page. You've already asked them to take action. If this is a sales page of an actual product, and there's going to be another button below, which we haven't gotten into this because we're going to do an episode on just sales pages, that actually ask them to take action at the bottom too, a buy now kind of button. This is the hybrid type page that we're going over today, so we'll be doing some in the future on different types of pages. And another one that I wanted to mention that we will be doing, because I'm not including it much on here, and I know there's a friend of mine listening to the show who's probably wondering, now where does this fit in with my online store? She has a store online, and we will be doing one that talks about homepage redesign for an actual store. Now, that one, it's a little different, so bear with us on that. We'll do an entire episode on an online store that strictly does online sales. All right, so let's go into some examples. The first example that you should have on your slide there is of Photoshop. Pretty recognizable name. So let's kind of go through some things that we picked up here that aren't necessarily landing page and website worthy according to Jeremy's laws of website design, so to speak. Everybody pretty much knows Photoshop, you would think, but that's quite an assumption from Adobe. So in my opinion, this page is pretty much garbage because it assumes you already know what Photoshop is and Lightroom, which quite honestly, I didn't even know what Lightroom is. I come to find out it's used a lot with photographers that don't want to use Photoshop. It doesn't say what it does, and it just assumes that you already want it. I'm just trying to find a headline on here, and I can't find a headline, and I surely hope that they weren't trying to use Photoshop photography program as a headline. So go back to what we just talked about in the headline, and you'll see that's not a good headline. A better one would have probably been something like Photoshop and Lightroom, the industry standard image editing software with a new Creative Cloud plan. You can get the most powerful image editing tools available. Something that describes what in the world it is and what value you're going to get from it. The images, I have no idea. These are screenshots that I have no idea why they're using the image of, it looks like, I don't know, Chicago downtown maybe, and That looks like my partner Jack on some sort of survival mission or something that he likes to go out in the wilderness and track antelope and stuff. I don't know if that's what they're doing there or how it relates to the actual program that you're trying to buy. But it's not working for me. The call to action is very bland. It's the contrast is not there. The purchase for $9.99 a month, it's up there smaller than most of the other things on the page. Needs to be moved to a better spot on the page, and it definitely needs some color contrast. So hopefully you guys can see kind of from our example where this fails miserably. All right, let's look at the next one, which is Hootsuite. For those of you who have heard of Hootsuite and know what it is, it's a pretty killer tool. We use it here at Brick Road. My sister and I both share Hootsuite, and that's some of the marketing messages that were sent out about the show today. We're actually using Hootsuite. Let's look at some of the cool things here. When we were talking about the images above in the first part of this webinar, remember I was saying don't use stock images, but use one and then try to relate it. Look how well they have this lady looking at the headline, which is Speed Up Your Social Media Today. Gets directly to the point, says what they're going to do. She's on the actual laptop with Hootsuite pulled up. That is the actual application for Hootsuite there. So it looks like she's at an office, kind of a newer, trendy kind of thing. That's how you can use an image to really get the point across. The headline, I'd give it an 8 out of a 10, probably a little too vague. I may try something like connect to all your social networks in a fraction of the time, something like that. But all in all, much better than Adobe's attempt. And then the call to action, it's a nice button. It's got a little bit of depth to it. They kind of use some 3D. Color stands out. But most important thing I like about it is it's an action word. Start now. It's not submit or subscribe or any of those boring things that really don't explain what you're doing, or it sounds like I'm just signing up for a list. People don't really want to sign up to know that their email is going to get pummeled. So you want to be creative and descriptive about what you're doing. Well, get your free Hootsuite Pro 30-day trial. Start now. It's an action item that emphasizes time is of the essence to do it now. Then below, they've got the three. They're using icons there to go through their benefits and their description of products. They're going through the third-party verifications right underneath that. They flipped it, based on our version, they flipped the testimonies and third-party verifications. No big deal. It looks good. And then they've actually included the call to action again at the bottom. So they have given you two places there. As you've scrolled through the whole thing, if you're not quite ready to do it then, you want to check out some of the other stuff that's going to do, they give you another opportunity when you get to the bottom to do it there. I'm a fan of Hootsuite. Art Institute of Vancouver. What in the world are you supposed to do here? The headline is Talent and Passion. WTF. I have no idea where they got a headline like that. The logo is used at the top left. It's used right underneath it in the first little bar. It's also used at the very bottom. People are not in love with your logo like you are in business. You just need to use it once, and it typically needs to be smaller than the rest of the elements that you're doing because you want the eye to be drawn to the important pieces, the headline, the call to action, and the benefits. So in this example, the logo is completely overused. Then if you read, and this takes some pretty good eyes here, but if you go to the Art Institute of Vancouver.com or whatever it is, you can go there and check this out yourself. But look at the copy, or go there and read the copy. They're talking about the city of Vancouver, and they're not talking about the school itself at all. So the question becomes, why should I pay the Art Institute of Vancouver and not some other school in Vancouver? Because all they're doing is trying to pump up the actual city, not the school. And then from a design standpoint, look at the bottom there where the box, the what is your location and program of interest. When you look at the two drop downs, the second drop down and the button that says next don't even fit within the box that they've put it in. So pretty questionable design tactic there. Actually, it's pretty pathetic. And then, moreover, too, they're using a opacity where they're putting these boxes on top of an image like that. And I know my first inclination was that it was very, very difficult to read the font. The font's too small, and it's done in white, and it blends into the background of that picture. It's a really cool way of doing design nowadays when you put those boxes and use some transparency to it, but you've got to be able to use your colors wisely in the contrast so that the main important part, which is the headline and the copy underneath it, that's much more important than the picture. But yet my eyes are drawn completely to the picture. The call to action on this page, I'm beating this page completely to death. I'm sorry, but it just drives me crazy. The chat live now. What exactly is that? What chat live now? What if I'm in a meeting, I'm busy, I'm checking out this page, I'm looking at, I don't want to chat now. What other options are there other than to go through this next kind of button thing at the bottom? They need to shorten all this up and get a call to action that is simple, that's one step, that people can engage with the Art Institute of Vancouver very quickly. Matter of fact, this is the type of page that I would probably be on the phone trying to talk to the people at the Art Institute of Vancouver to talk to them about working with Brick Road, because they need a new designer. All right, the next one, pluralist. I'm going to start speeding up just a little bit because we've got about 13 minutes left, and I definitely want to get to all these examples. Headline's good, simple way to optimize landing pages. And since this is a landing page company, I'm glad that they've done a pretty good job with the landing page. The keywords here that they've used, which we haven't really talked a whole lot about keywords, but go figure, there will be another episode on that. Simple, optimized, does all the work for you. It is very simple, and it's all stuck in to the headline, the subheading. So perfect spot for it, not only for you as the reader and the user, but also Google picks up on that, and those are the keywords that search engine marketing will tie together here with. I would probably throw out, if I was doing this, I would do 2 of these pages identical, and I would change the headline on one and do an A/B test to see which one converted better. And I would do something like, you could test on more like a benefit-based headline, such as get more sales with our landing page. Subheadline's good again. Small logo. See how pluralist is small up there, and it's still incorporated, but it's not taking over the page like it was on the Art Institute. Social proof logos. They've got Bytes, Daily Crowdsource, TNW, TC, bulleted, easy to understand outline, and they've used icons and images there. I'm not quite sure what the experts with the little map and all the funky things are, but hey, it's creative, it's cool. Most people aren't going to pick on it quite like that, like I do. The video, the only one picky thing that I did find about this is that you try it out for free. You can put your URL in here and try it out for free. What they're assuming here is that you have to take their headline, their subheading, and get super excited to want to go and pop your URL in here and try it. What are you trying? What do they even do? The simple way to optimize a landing page. Okay, what does that mean? Well, I'm going to guess, and I'm going to have to admit I did not watch their video, but I'm going to guess that their video explains what they do and shows a little bit more about the company. What I would have preferred to do is put the video up above with the bullet points of choose a landing page, need improve, blah, 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 and then put the bar right under it to try it out. Try it out after you know what in the world they're talking about. That was the only thing about this one that I kind of picked up that I think they need to do better. Pack Manager is the next one. The headline's weak. They did get the logo part right. And, as you see here, they've integrated their little navigation up at the top, and they've kept it small and kind of hidden a little bit to where it's not taking up any kind of preference on the page. The headline's weak. Seamless customer integration. Well, what's that mean? Seamless customer, what do they even do? If I'm just jumping on this page and looking at it, the only people that are going to understand this are people that are directly driven, super, super targeted. I mean, uber targeted, because they're going to have to understand some of the verbiage and some of the slang, industry slang and terms before anybody's going to make sense of that. So the other problem with this is there's really nothing that stands out on the page. There's no real hierarchy of information. The call to action is the same color scheme, and it blends in with the same everything else on the page, the opt-in box, all of that. There's really nothing that separates. And then free demo. If any of you listening to this have free demo as your call to action, immediately change it. Try a demo is the most boring thing, and it doesn't work anymore. People don't want to try a demo. If you're going to do something like that and you have a product that you want to demo, in this case, try something more like host webinar maybe, or change wording. Do something to like how to streamline your order process and generate more repeat orders. Something off the cuff like that would be a heck of a lot better. It's still the same form. They're still going to get a demo, but it doesn't tell them, here's a free demo. That's like a Kirby sales kind of deal, and that doesn't work. So get rid of that. The other parts of this are, I've already lost interest at that part up there. I don't really need to pick on any more of the page necessarily. Let's go to, let's do the small business consultant.
This episode of Cutting Edge Web Marketing, sponsored in part by Brick Road Media's Customer Attraction Training Center at brickroadmedia.com/cast. brickroadmedia.com/cast, where small businesses go to grow. Today's listeners can grab a free 7-day trial and start sending new customers, leads, and subscribers to your site today. Go to brickroadmedia.com/cast.
This one is, I think, the very first GoToWebinar page that came out, maybe. But this is actually someone's landing page, believe it or not. So I guess we're stuck in the very first invitation to the very first webinar. The graphics on it are horrible. I mean, that is actually clip art, guys. And I can't believe we would still be using clip art with Fiverr and many other resources. Hell, Google Images. You can go and pick up images for $1 with any of these. Even stock image beats this. So not good there. The form's just kind of hanging out there in space. It's really doing nothing. There's no organization to this at all. The headline here, the who says you're number one? The number one small business marketing consultant by who? Tracy Fever? Okay. So if you're going to put your number one at something, you need to have something reputable, some third-party organization who has said you are the number one thing. We've done a poll, like Nielsen or something to that nature. It looks terrible when you're the self-proclaimed number one person. Of course you're number one in your own eyes. That's got to go. That's terrible. Schedule your free 30-minute consultation. Okay. For what? What does she do? Get more leads and sales online. That's pretty vague. It goes into the number one thing. I'm still kind of hung up on that, but get more leads and online. How are you going to do that? Give some. There's no testimonials on this page. There's no third-party verification. Excuse me. There's really no or description of product or service. She's got marketing consultation, marketing coaching, marketing automation, business process automation. Nothing about any of those things and specific on how or why or what she does. So I'd be very interested to see how many people convert on this page. All right, we'll quit picking on Tracy now. I could go on for a little bit longer, but let's get to a really good one. One of my favorites, Conversion Lab. Should be the last one in your slides, and hopefully these slides are put together. I've had a little difficulty with Adobe Pro today putting this all together, so hopefully you're not sliding and scrolling and trying to figure it out. So let's go over this conversion lab. This one, it's really hard to critique, but at the same time, you got to hold them to a high standard. That's what they're teaching you how to do, is build pages that convert, right? Let's talk about the headline. Get higher results on your online advertising. It's bold, it's clean, there's plenty of space around it, the logo's small. They used a real person, not a stock goofy image. It appears to be maybe somebody high up in the company. I'm not sure. I can't really read what that is. There's nothing fancy here, but it directly speaks to the benefits of the service right below. The call to action is clear and it's concise. The form, I love the form. I want help with landing pages. Talk about a need getting solved. And it uses icons next to it, designing in threes, which we like, get higher conversion rates, improve results on your advertising, get started in no time. We do all the work. Great little subheadings there, great description underneath those. The form is color contrasting, has very simple 4 lines: name, email, phone, and website. He's breaking my rule a little bit here, but I can understand with landing pages, he would want to know about that. Putting your website in. The only thing I may question is the phone, but there's got to be a method to his madness there as to why they're doing that. The testimonial below is in a perfect location and great. This is one of the best, most organized, well put together landing pages. All he would have to do, if conversionlab.com had a lot of other information and about us and company history and all that, all they would have to do is just put a little navigation bar at the very top of that, and booyah, they're on and going. The cool thing about this landing page is if he was to, I say he, I don't know if he owns this or whatever, but it kind of appears that he might. If he was to, or this company was to want to come out with another product, this is their landing page. I want help with landing pages. Well, what if they came out with, I want help with my Facebook page? How much work do you think they're going to have here? Very little. They're going to change that header on the form to, I want help with my Facebook page. They're going to change the icons over on the left. They're going to change a little bit of the copy around to speak specifically to the Facebook part of it. They could even keep the banner up at the top the same dude, change the words a little bit, get higher results on your Facebook advertising. Voila. Within 15 minutes, they could have a Facebook landing page. What about Twitter? What about LinkedIn? What about, you could duplicate, copy and paste literally with about 15 minutes of copy change. You could convert this page into any of those pages, and now you have a direct page that specifically your Facebook ad product or your landing page product or your free consultation product or whatever you have. When you have this type of a template, it's not going back to the drawing board every time, and that's why these pages have become super popular, because if you're just sending direct, or you're sending people, any user, however you're doing it now, whether it's just Google organic, where you're just hoping and praying that somebody comes to your site, if you're handing out business cards with a website, Facebook ads, Google, all of these ways that you can drive people to your website, if you are just sending them to a brochure site, you're missing the boat. Okay, you got to work on both ends here. You got to work on targeting your audience, and then you got to work on having a page that when they go to it, it speaks to why they clicked to begin with. And we can help you with that. So that kind of wraps up this part of the episode, except for I wanted to talk a little bit real quick about CAST. CAST is our online university that Jack and I have created. And CAST stands for Customer Attraction Systems Training. At the very top of this page that you're looking at, there's an orange banner, and you can click that to get to the CAST and get a 30-day free trial of it, so you don't have to come out of pocket and pay anything to test it out and check it out. The very first module is in there is about Google. Google 101 is what it's titled as, and that's going to go over Google Plus, Google everything, search engine stuff, YouTube, anything and everything that deals with the properties of Google. Because let's just face it, Google pretty much owns the internet in the search engine world. People are looking for you and your product and service. You need to be found on Google. So that's where we started. There's going to be a total of 15 modules done. We have industry experts that come in and contribute in each one of those modules. You'll be able, once you're a member, to access these archives of all of these shows that we're doing every week. It's a really cool thing. It's a great project. Jack and I have really enjoyed working on it, and really excited to see some of the results that are starting to come from some of the members that have been in there. So go check it out. Click the button if you have any questions. You can reach me personally on Facebook at Jared Keene or Brick Road Media's page. I'm on Twitter. I'm everywhere. You can go check me out and just shoot me a quick email or a chat on Facebook, and I'll respond to you as quick as I can. I appreciate all of you guys being here today, and look forward to the next episode next Thursday. So tune in then at 3 o'clock p.m., and we'll see you.
You've been listening to Cutting Edge Web Marketing. Don't miss an episode. Subscribe to our channel here on Blog Talk Radio. Then follow Brick Road Media on Facebook to stay current on all the latest customer attraction web marketing tactics. Just visit facebook.com/brickroadmedia and you'll be in the loop.